What drives a society to label a revolutionary figure as insane? This is the question at the heart of our exploration into Jesus' life and ministry. At a time when political revolution was fervently anticipated, Jesus introduced a radical spiritual message that confounded even those closest to him. Why did his actions and teachings, which would later form the cornerstone of Christianity, initially lead to claims of madness from his friends and family? Dive into this gripping narrative that challenges our traditional understandings and invites us to look beyond the surface. The Gospel narratives provide several instances where Jesus' mental state was questioned by his friends and family. One of the most striking examples is found in Mark 3 verse 21, where it is reported that when his family heard about what he was doing, they went out to seize him, for they said, "He is out of his mind." This assertion seems to stem from their observation of Jesus' behavior and the claims he made about himself, which were extraordinary and unprecedented. The period in which Jesus lived was heavily influenced by Jewish religious law and traditions, which were integral to society's daily workings. Jesus' radical teachings and actions, such as proclaiming the forgiveness of sins, healing on the Sabbath, and associating with sinners and tax collectors, starkly contrasted with the established religious norms of the time. His actions not only challenged the societal norms but also seemed to threaten the religious authority of the scribes and Pharisees, leading to significant tensions. According to Mark 3 verse 21, the concern expressed by Jesus' family that he was out of his mind can be interpreted in several ways. First, it reflects a natural human concern for what was perceived as erratic behavior, especially in a highly structured religious society. His radical departure from traditional Jewish practices could have genuinely seemed like madness to those who deeply valued religious conformity. Secondly, this incident can be viewed through a spiritual lens, suggesting a lack of understanding or spiritual blindness to Jesus' mission and identity. This interpretation aligns with the broader New Testament theme of spiritual insight versus blindness, where true understanding of Jesus' identity and mission often came not through religious leaders but through the common people, sinners, and outsiders. Among the key points of discussion is the nature of disbelief and misunderstanding among Jesus' closest associates, including his family. The assertion that he was insane might highlight the cultural and spiritual divide between earthly expectations of the Messiah as a political liberator and Jesus' spiritual and redemptive mission. In exploring why Jesus' friends claimed he was insane, it is pivotal to consider the scriptural accounts like Mark 3 verse 21. This passage offers insights into the societal and familial expectations placed on Jesus, portraying him as someone who not only defied these expectations but also acted in ways that were incomprehensible to many at the time. The interpretation that views these claims of insanity as a misunderstanding of Jesus' actions and teachings highlights the difficulties Jesus faced in communicating his divine mission to a society that expected a very different kind of Messiah. This viewpoint sheds light on the social and theological implications of his ministry, illustrating how his radical actions were perceived as madness in the absence of spiritual insight. This analysis opens avenues for deeper theological reflection, particularly around the concepts of messianic expectations, societal norms, and the recognition of spiritual authority. By examining these diverse viewpoints, believers are invited to deepen their understanding of Jesus' life and the complex reactions he provoked. Analyzing the societal reactions to Jesus' behaviors and teachings requires understanding the historical and cultural context of first-century Judea. During this period, Jewish society was deeply influenced by a fervent expectation of a Messiah who would deliver them from Roman rule and restore the kingdom of Israel. These messianic expectations were rooted in interpretations of Hebrew scriptures, such as the prophecies of Isaiah and Daniel, which depicted a victorious and sovereign Messiah. The widespread anticipation was that the Messiah would lead a political or military revolution. References in scriptures, like Isaiah 9 verses 6 to 7, illustrate these expectations with visions of a Prince of Peace who would establish a government of justice and righteousness. However, Jesus' ministry, focused on spiritual salvation and societal change through nonviolence, diverged sharply from these militaristic anticipations. This discrepancy between expected and realized messianic roles led to misunderstandings and rejections of Jesus' ministry. Notably, his emphasis on inner spiritual renewal rather than external political change was a radical departure from the anticipated messianic functions. Critics might argue that the belief Jesus was insane reflects historical inaccuracies or embellishments in the gospel accounts. However, Considering the detailed cultural and contextual cues provided in the Gospels, the narrative of Jesus being considered insane by his family and peers holds significant theological and historical weight. In examining the rejections Jesus faced, a critical aspect to consider is the role of cultural and religious expectations. The prophecies and traditional beliefs created a framework within which the Messiah was expected to operate. However, Jesus' actions and teachings often contradicted these preconceived notions, leading to conflicts and accusations of insanity. A deeper insight into this dynamic reveals that the gap between societal expectations and Jesus' actual teachings was a significant factor in the misunderstandings that arose. This gap indicates a broader understanding that Jesus' mission was not just to reform society politically but to transform it spiritually, which was initially hard for many to accept. The exploration of why Jesus was considered insane by some of his contemporaries offers new insights into the complexities of messianic expectations versus the reality of his ministry. This topic highlights the challenges Jesus faced in presenting a new spiritual paradigm that differed radically from prevailing expectations. The initial rejection Jesus faced underscores the potential for profound societal impact by ideas or figures that challenge the status quo. Such resistance, though often marked by misunderstanding or outright rejection, can eventually lead to a deeper understanding and acceptance of transformative truths. The narrative of Jesus being considered insane not only illustrates the conflict between established expectations and new teachings but also highlights the transformative power of spiritual insight over societal norms. This invites reflection on the nature of truth, the process of belief formation, and the transformative power of radical ideas in shaping religious and societal landscapes. This analysis not only deepens our understanding of the specific events surrounding Jesus' life but also encourages a broader contemplation of how divine actions and human expectations interact in the dynamic process of religious understanding and societal change. In this exploration of the complex reactions to Jesus' ministry, we've uncovered how deep-rooted expectations and radical teachings collided, creating waves of misunderstanding that branded a divine mission as mere insanity. Through the lens of history and scripture, we've seen how Jesus' transformative approach to societal and spiritual issues was initially met with skepticism and outright denial. This journey into the heart of religious narrative invites us to question and reflect on our own perceptions of tradition and revelation. Thank you for watching. Tell us what you think of this episode in the comments section. We like to learn from you. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share this video. God bless you.